So I know what y'all are thinking. Damn, that's a lot of cards. Damn, that's a lot of hand traps. Oh God, Slim, are you gonna talk about hand traps again? Yep. What's going on, you guys? So, it's time for another hand trap video. Now, I know a lot of channels do this. I think we all have different perspectives. I've said this over and over again. I feel that we all have different tournament experiences. We all have different skill levels. We all have different competitive levels. Some are competitive, some are not. Some have really good advice. Some have generic advice. We all use a lot of generic advice when we talk about hand traps, but one thing we can definitely talk about every format, every time there's a new deck, hand traps just have to be reflected upon. And the reason why they have to be reflected upon is because they're effective and ineffective against so many decks, and it's better that no matter if you're a casual, if you're competitive, you're in the middle, whatever, that you know what hand traps are the best and why. So I have pretty much every hand trap laid out here. The only one I don't have is Ghost Bell, and I'll just be the first to say it. Ghost Bell is kind of like whatever. I think the card is decent. It has some applications against Solomon Grade. It has some applications against Thunder Dragon, but to be honest, I haven't even used it. I've never even played the card, and I've never honestly needed it. So to each his own. If you like Ghost Bell, by all means use it. I'm not going to talk about things like Skullmeister. I'm not going to talk about hand traps that I don't really see played. I've already talked about DD Crow and its effectiveness against Solomon Grade. I want to talk about the main hand traps that we see in pretty much every deck. So we're going to get into it. We're also going to talk about ratios, like where I think, ratios are good and should you be playing the cards or not. So hand traps, you guys, they really do define Yu-Gi-Oh! And they really define the format. So let's get into it. I'm going to start in no particular order. So I'm just going to start with the Gamma Driver package. I guess maybe in this particular order that I laid them out, just for a nice little, way to look at the cards. So, Gamma Driver. It's fallen off in popularity. It has. There's no denying it. I feel that the card was amazing when Rongo was a deck, and I feel like because of that, since Rongo is gone, people are starting not to play this card as much. However, I think this card still has a lot of value because you can use it against pretty much everything. If your deck is geared to go second, this is an amazing card. I think Cyber Dragons play this card the best. I feel that any deck that plays this is mostly a going second deck. This is a really good side deck option for going second. You can use it against the Thunder Dragon combo deck. You hit the Guard Dragons or whatever. They're kind of just out of luck when they go like Argopane or whatever, because then they're locked under you negate and destroy the Argopane, and then they're stuck under LP and Saryuja, and trust me, that sucks because then they're still locked into Dragon. So if they don't play Triple Burst or whatever, they're still out of luck. And Triple Burst kind of sucks if it's the only card you summon. So this card does have applications against this. I feel this card is also good against Solomon Great. Again, hit the Sunlight Wolf, hit whatever, and I mean you're good to go. Hit the what is it, the Gazelle or the Fox, or I don't even know. Like I said, I'm still working on the deck, but definitely I think this card should be getting more attention than it does. I feel that it kind of sucks this card isn't getting enough attention, but it's definitely something you guys could try out. Again, it's been reprinted, so it should be a little bit easier to get. I don't think it's the best hand trap at all. I think last format it was the best hand trap specifically against combo decks, but now we don't really see it as much. But I'm telling you right now, like this card has applications against everything. It's kind of like whatever against Sky Striker, but it's really good against Altergeist, believe it or not, because you hit that one Marionetter as their main summon, and I mean, it's amazing. I've done it before, and it's so flat out win me the game. Now, that might not happen every time, but you always want to have every option in your back pocket. So, definitely, I think you should have a set of this. I think you should definitely have the Gamma Driver package, because I feel like if it's not this part of the format, there might be another part of the format that this comes up against. So, it's always valuable to have. And personally, I play the Rare Driver, because I just really don't want to draw it. So, that's all I have to say on Psi-Framegear Gamma. Again, you guys can put in the comments below what hand traps you feel are the best and the applications that they have. So we'll start with that. Next, we're going to go into Winter Cherries. Now, I spent a little bit of time on Winter Cherries in my, everything you need to destroy Solomon Great video. And this card, like I said, I'm still in between on what I want to do with this card, if I want to play it or not play it. The reason is, I feel this card is really good in decks like, what is that deck called? Subterrors. I feel it's really good in Subterrors because yes, they pay pot of a exquisite, whatever it is, the pot card, and Indulgence, yeah, and they can play this because their whole extra deck is just compiled up of Cherries targets. So because of that, they can just play this card. Cherries the initial thing, and that's it. Now, the problem with this card is your deck has to be able to support it. Now, here's the thing. Like, I could actually just leave my extra deck the way it is and side this card in the mirror because I just Cherries the Saryuja, and that's huge. Against, Thunder Dragons. Also, like, if you play against, what is it? If you play against any deck that can make Dweller, I think it's valuable to side this with Dweller because Dweller really does shut down a lot of decks. So this card's very good. I think it's also really good to hit the Wolf or hit one of their extra deck guys, like their Heatleo or whatever it is they use to recover, because by doing that, they don't have that recovery play. And trust me, the recovery play is huge. So I'm still on the fence about this. Those of you that have played this card, I'd want to know in the comments below, what have you used it against? How effective was it? Is it something worth using? Because I feel like this card definitely has merit to be, you know, used. I'm just not 100% sure in what decks and what exactly your Cherries targets are. I feel the only problem I have with this card, and this is just probably a personal thing, is that my extra deck is really tight. And when putting this in the side deck, if I have to side the Cherries target, I mean, it is what it is, but then it's finding out which card do I side out for my extra deck as well. So I think Cherries is, of course, a very good card. And like I said, it warrants any use in any format. I want to know your guys' experience with it. Do you think it's worth trying Cherries again? Good old Ash Blossom. The most, like, generic hand trap that ever was. And you're common now, but we're not playing the commons because I love my secrets. I've had these secrets forever. These have been my lucky secrets. What can I say? I think this card is good all the time. And I mean it because I feel like you can use it against something in every deck. It's not so good against some decks. I'll be honest. I don't think this card is that good against Sky Strikers. I don't think it's that good against Altergeist. The reason being is, yeah, you can Ash and engage. They can just add it back with Kagari. Yeah, it's probably better to just Ash the Shizuku at end phase, just saying, like, that's what I remember when I was playing this card. That was obviously the better play. Unless they top deck engage, then then you Ash it. It's pretty strong. But overall, I think this card always has value. Has value against Thunder Dragons when they use Roar or Dark. It has, you can use it on Sekka's Light if you want. You can use it on, what is it? You can even use it on Solar. I don't know if that's the best option, but I mean, it's pretty cool. Fortunately against Altergeist, I mean, the only thing it's good for is the multi-faker effect to summon from deck, or the Mulla-Seek search. I mean, that does have value, but I don't really know. But overall, I think Ash is just always going to be a good card. I think this card is also really good against Solomon Great. It's also really good in Solomon Great because you can recycle it because it's a fire, and it's also a level 3, so it has synergy with the deck. So overall, I think Ash will always be a staple hand trap somewhere in the meta. Somewhere. Let's see, we'll save these. We'll go with a Ghost Ogre. So Ghost Ogre is interesting. This card has seen a lot of play and has seen a lot of decline in play. I think this card definitely is a card that people do not value enough, and I think that is a mistake. I feel this card is really good against the combo deck. The reason why I say this is because you can Ogre the Saryuja, you can Ogre the Guard Dragon, you do a lot of things, and you guys are thinking, okay, well, Slim, that doesn't negate it. Well, it isn't the fact that it negates it, it's the fact that it gets it off the field. This does something that a lot of these hand traps outside of Gamma do not. They get the problem off the field. And you guys may be thinking, why is that valuable? Well, if you decide that you're going to Ghost Ogre Saryuja, you just cut me off from 3 arrows. If I go Saryuja, activate, and you Ogre it, and it goes bye-bye, yeah, I'm going to draw my cards, yeah, I'm going to manipulate my hand, fix it, but then my 3 arrows are gone, and I'm telling you right now, that's huge. So I definitely think Ogre is very good. I think it's also good, against the Guard Dragons. I think it's also very good against Altergeist. And people are like, how's this card good against Altergeist? I'm telling you right now, they summon Marionetter, and you can hit it, like, it's pretty strong. If they summon, what is it, multi-figure, and you hit it, it's pretty strong, because then the Silk may come out, but it doesn't have anything to bounce if they don't have a back row. That's an Altergeist card. So overall, I think this card does have application. This card is really good against the combo deck. I think any deck that plays Summon Sork also against the Thunder Dragon deck, if they're playing Sork, you hit the Sork, like, the game is over. Like, I'm telling you right now, like, every time you stop a Summon Sorceress, especially getting it off the board, which is huge, and they don't have the arrows to do the combo, then it's huge. And I think this is a card that is definitely undervalued and should not be undervalued. You should definitely have a set of these somewhere. Like I said, hand traps circle every format, so definitely keep Ogre on your radar. Old personal favorite. You guys already know I've talked this card up more times than I can count. I think this was one of the best cards against Thunder Dragon. I think it's still very good against Thunder Dragons because of all the chaos plays. It's definitely a card I still play. I go back and forth with because I feel you need strong cards in the mirror. I don't really know, like, if it has any applications, like, against other decks. I don't think it has any application against Strike or any application against Geist. I don't think it has application. I'm not sure if it has application against Solomon Gray, but, time will tell. I think overall, though, this is a card that you would specifically side for the mirror, and the problem is, Again, I don't want a card literally just for one matchup. I feel like that is completely inefficient and honestly a waste of side deck space, but this is definitely a card you guys should consider because it's very, very good against the matchup. And I mean, I have used it. I know Gold Stark is at 1, so being able to hit that 1 Gold Stark is really critical. But overall, I think what I like about it is... that, you know, it does have that flexibility to lock them out for the whole turn, and anything that can do that I think is really, really strong. Don't mind the background, you guys. Babies cry. Sorry about that, but I can't really edit that out. But you know, it is what it is. So hopefully you guys will still enjoy the real life videos when you got babies in the house crying. So yeah. What can we say about this? I think M. Cole said it best. This was like the savior of the format as soon as combo Thunder Dragons came out. Dangers, man. Like, dangers. Like, honestly, dangers are everywhere, and being able to draw and lock Bird when they do one danger is amazing because then you lock them out for the rest of the turn. This card basically buys you a turn. If your deck can play it, I think you should play it. I don't know what else to say. This is definitely a side deck staple right now for any deck. I think even in the combo deck, you side this because in the mirror match, like, you need to cut them off from their dangers, and you need to be able to play, and they'll do the same thing to you. So I'm telling you right now, I think this card is definitely worth picking up in every shape or form because it's necessary. And it does have some other applications against other decks, but I feel it's really strong against the combo Thunder Dragon deck. So definitely have this card in your arsenal. You will definitely not regret it because anything with dangers, this is the answer. This card has value like Maxi had value because it lingers. And that's what I like. This card lingers. This card lingers. Cards that linger are huge. And I want people to understand that. Those cards are huge because you're able to... get so much value out of one card. Like, instead of 1-for-1ing, which a lot of these hand traps do, this card lingers the entire turn. And you may think, okay, maybe it's still a 1-for-1 in a sense, but when you think about it, if it buys you a turn, that is so much value. So definitely do not sleep on Droll and Lockbird. I know you guys won't. I know you guys have seen plenty of people talk about how this is one of the best cards of the format and a staple of this format. So definitely have this card somewhere in your side deck. Unless you're decking main deck. If you're decking main deck, I mean, you are miles ahead of the club. So now the Veilers, I guess. The 3 Veilers, the Impermanences. We're just going to take these both. I like both of these cards a lot. This one's price tag is obscene. This one's price tag is going up, but it's not that bad. Here's the pros and cons of both of these. This card is very good because using one of these other hand traps like Phantazmay, you can draw into this. What I like about this card, you can use more than one per turn. You can also do the same thing with this card. The advantage of this card is that you can draw into it when you have cards already established on the field, and you can Veiler, and very strong, and it, of course, it does completely, you know, negate the monster, and it's also very good for being able to, you know, like I said, draw into it and then stop stuff while your opponent's comboing off. Impermanence, very strong. I think Impermanence has a lot of value when it's able to stop cards in column. However, that does require you to set it and then activate it, but it can come up a lot, so trust me, it's very strong, especially if your opponent is not very skilled and they actually activate a card in the column that Impermanence shut off and it's negated, so card is very strong. I feel the problem with Impermanence, though, is it's a card that you only want when you don't have anything on the field, and that's only if you're going second, because yes, you can use multiple per turn, but you need to have no cards on the field to be able to hit your opponent's cards. So I feel overall, I think Veiler is a little bit better. I think it's better. The one disadvantage to Veiler, it does get hit by Call by the Grave, whereas Impermanence does not. But I think Veiler, in the long run, if you're at a budget player too, is a better option. It does come in common, I believe. And being able to Veiler, you know, anything, especially in the Solomon Great matchup, is huge. So I really like this card. I don't think this card is okay against Thunder Dragons. You can hit Solar, you can hit Saryuja, you can hit Sky Blaster. Like, those are really strong cards to hit. So it's definitely not bad. It's good against Altergeist too. Hitting Marionette is huge. So think about that. I think overall, you just have to pick your poison depending on, like, everything I've said. What works best to your deck? Do you want to draw into this card and be able to use it? Do you want to have this card and you be able to activate it from hand if you have no cards, or set it and, you know, blow out a column 2? It really comes down to personal preference on what you play against. I think overall these cards are not that good against some of the decks, but I think they do have warrant to be somewhere in your main or side deck. So Veilers and Impermanences, always going to be good cards. Y'all know I was saving him for last. This card is the business. Like, what can I say? This card is the business. This card is the best card in Savage Strike. I don't care. Argue with me all you want. I think this is the best card in Savage Strike because this is the most generic card that just does so much. This is a Saryuja. This is a Max C. This is a Free Body. This is a Negate Widow Anchor, which is broken. This is a Negate Targeting. This card is insane. I think this card, it really is just the nuts. I think everyone should have this card. I'm sorry that the price tag is so high, but I think you should have this card. I think like this card is an absolute staple of this format. It's gone as far as to see main deck play, so you guys know it's good. I think overall, this card is so good against Striker. This card is so good in the Mirror match, the Thunder Dragon matchup. This card is decent against Solomon Great because, you know, you're still going to get value off of whatever they link summon. I think this card is just one of the best cards ever printed, and I know I hype this card a lot, but there is a reason. I would not give you guys bad advice. I would not tell you not to pick up this card. I think this card is really, really good. I think almost every deck can support it. There might be some that can. I'm sure there are some that can't, but this card does so much. It's also a dragon, so it has synergy. I think you guys should just remember that. This card just does so much for so many decks and is so good against so many decks of the format that I hope you guys will try to invest in it or try to, you know, borrow them or find value in it. But remember, this is without a doubt one of the best cards. It has applications against almost every matchup except Geist. I mean, this card sucks against Geist. Like, it's just terrible against Geist and Subterrors and all those other cards, those other trap decks. But overall, I think this card is the nuts against pretty much every main deck in the meta, and you will not regret picking up these cards. But that is it, you guys. I know this kind of was like a deck profile. I mean, look at that. It's kind of like a deck, right? But these are just the hand trap options you have. I already talked about the one hand trap I actually don't have access to, and that is Bell. I already talked about Bell's applications at the beginning of the video, but I want you guys to really just listen to what I said, listen to the reasoning behind a lot of these. And most of these, I would say, play in 3-ofs. I would definitely play 3 Phantazmay. If you're going to play Impermanence, 2 to 3, Valor, 2 to 3. Droll is a staple 3-of. You need to see the card, especially for its applications. Lancia, like I said, is probably the most hit or miss card on this list. You can definitely play one. You play like 2 to 3 copies if you want it. But I think out of all the hand traps, I would rank this the lowest on the totem pole. Unfortunately, as much as I love this card, I would still rank it the lowest. Again, cards like this, 2 to 3, Ash, probably 3, especially because Solomon Great can just recycle this card, so this card's just really good in that deck. This is the card I go back and forth with. You really need to decide if it's right for your deck. Like I said, comment below if you feel it is. And these, I mean, you have to play 3 and 1. Like, you just have to. Like, there's no way around it. I would never play 2 and 1, so 3 and 1 is a staple. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, a little bit different. I wanted to just talk about hand traps. Every format, I feel we should talk about hand traps. YCS Dusseldorf is taking place. We will, once we know the winner, we of course do a format analysis and why whatever deck won. So stay tuned for those. If you guys enjoyed the video, consider backing me on Patreon. All my Patreon sponsors, you guys are amazing. If you guys do want to support me, I am literally the most open Patreon you will ever see. I want to actually just customize the tiers and everything for each individual. I know that sounds crazy. You're like, how do you do that? Basically, you tell me what you want. I'm not good at creating something that everybody gets. I want you all to have your own experience with me, especially if you're supporting this channel, because obviously it means a lot to me. I appreciate it, and I want you guys to get the most out of being a supporter of the channel. So consider that. It's in the link below. And just let me know your overall thoughts on hand traps. I think they're a staple in Yu-Gi-Oh! I think they define Yu-Gi-Oh! And I think every format will have its array of hand traps that will be used. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to smash that like button and let me know other content you want to see here on the channel. Like I said, we'll have some YCS content coming up soon, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that as well. But that's all I have to say. Give the video a thumbs up, and thank you for watching.